तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्. I invoke the grace and blessings of Guru and Bhagwan on all of us here today. And I thank you to everybody here, to Falu, to Leo, Shruti and Bhaskar for setting the tone for us, and to all of you for being here on this rainy day. Today we're going to reflect on the Gita Panchamrit. I'm sure all of you have a copy of this. And Panchamrit literally means, Amrit means nectar. And Pancha means 5 drops of nectar from the Bhagavad-Gītā. These were chosen very carefully, as Anjali has said, by Puja Swami Tejomayananda ji and Swami Swaroopananda ji of Chinmaya Mission, because they offer a complete spiritual path. The 5 verses that we're going to look at is on this side of your book, so you can follow with me as we chant. Before we start the first verse, I just wanted to give you a brief intro as to why these 5 verses were chosen. The Bhagavad-Gītā has about 700 verses, and the crux, or the main theme of the Bhagavad-Gītā, is this beautiful divine statement, Tat Tvam Asi. It means, in essence, we are all divine. The first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad-Gītā tell us about who we are. They focus on this word called Tvam, which means you. What is our real nature? The next 6 verses of the Bhagavad-Gītā, they focus on Tat. What is that reality? What is that ultimate reality? Maybe we call it the source, God, Bhagavan, whatever word we have. What is that reality? And the last 6 chapters focus on the word Asi, which means the union between the individual and the supreme reality. That the essence of us and the essence of that divinity is one and the same. Now these verses also have that same essence. The first 3 verses talk about Tvam, you, me. Who are we really, and what are we to do in this life? The 4th verse talks about what is that we call God? What does that really mean? Is there somebody like that? And the 5th verse talks about our essential oneness. So let's go ahead and start with the first verse. I'll chant it and please repeat after me. Uddharedatmanatmanam Natmanam avasadaye Atmaivahyatmano bandhuhu. Atmaiva ripuratmanaha. We'll chant together. Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. The crux of the first verse is lift yourself by yourself. Uddhared atmanatmanam means lift yourself by yourself. Having done so, na atmanam avasadayet, don't lower yourself. And how do we lift ourselves? Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu, by befriending our mind. Atmaiva ripuratmanaha, and by not letting our mind become our own enemy. What is it that we're all trying to do every single day? There's only one thing that everybody's trying to do. Whether it's taking the shortcut to work, whether it's not picking up a phone call, eating a certain type of food, riding the subway instead of the car, going for a vacation on a certain date. Why do we make these choices? It's only for one reason, and that reason is we want to be happy. We want to feel joyous. And we want to feel at peace and at ease. This is why we hang out with the people we hang out with. We watch what we watch. We do what we do. But as we look at this world, we find that that happiness is not really coming from outside objects or people. The same people that make us happy at one time, they make us very sad at another time. The same food that we really enjoyed, when we get much older, we find out that we can't eat it. The same place that we cherished now feels so strange to us. Those things which we thought would make us happy, they don't really make us happy anymore. And if they do, it's just a matter of time before they stop doing so. So our quest is perpetually trying to figure out how to make ourselves peaceful, how to make ourselves happy. And that's only known and recognized when we know who we are. And we start to know who we are when we learn about our potential. This first verse, lift yourself by yourself, means lift ourselves to what our potential is. Within us, there's a hidden talent. There's a natural aptitude to be something greater, something more than we are today. And we have this gulf. This is the regular me, the actual me, and this is the ideal me. And we find that there's a gap in between. I know I'm supposed to do this. I know I want to do this. I know I want to be here, but this is where I am. And a lift is always something from the lower to the higher. So constantly we feel this gap. We know we're supposed to respond in a certain way, behave in a certain way, act in a certain way, but we're not able to do it. We know we're supposed to wake up early, but we keep snoozing the alarm clock. We know we're supposed to slow down, but we just rush everywhere. Why is there this gap? And how do I lift myself from the actual me to the ideal me? Swami Chinmaya ji said very beautifully, it only takes one thing. What is that? It's not a self-help book. It's not even a coach, a counselor. It's only finding an ideal. When we find something that's truly meaningful in life, that inspires us to wake up, then what happens? Discipline is natural. Climbing higher is natural. Becoming divine is natural. Becoming good is natural. Just think about a runner, somebody who runs the New York City Marathon, maybe. This person has a dream of running the New York City Marathon. And before, they used to just run, in the streets. And when they would run in the streets and just run for fun, they wouldn't be so disciplined. They would get up whenever they wanted to get up, go for a run whenever they felt like, eat whatever they wanted. But the minute somebody joins a marathon, what happens? To get up early, to train, stay fit. There's certain foods that you can't eat. And there's a routine every day that one must follow. And all that happened is the mindset, the ideal changed. Now I'm not running in the streets anymore. I'm going to run a marathon. Now imagine what would happen if that person said, I want to run in the Olympics. I want to be in an Olympic competition. What would happen to that person's discipline, lifestyle? Everything would change, isn't it? What changed? It's just having that ideal, having something that inspires us. And when we have something that inspires us, that will lift us up and not anything else. We can try so many things, it won't work. Because once a habit is set in, it's very difficult to break. The only thing that can break it is divine inspiration. So if we find that sometimes we can't get out of bed, we don't feel like going to work, we don't feel like facing people, and we don't feel like doing what we're supposed to do, what does it mean? It means that we're aiming too low. We haven't found something that deeply inspires us. If we find that we're being indisciplined, and it's very easy to just live an indisciplined life, it's because we're aiming too low. If it doesn't scare the heck out of us, then it's low. It's got to be so high that it scares us, that it frightens us. And that will make us rise. Swami Chinmaya ji also said something so beautiful. He said, actually, reaching the goal is not the goal. Because we have to set a goal that's so high that we can't reach it. And reaching the goal is not the goal. Striving to reach the goal is when we unfold. So keep it high, and the lift is natural. Having lifted ourselves, it says, don't lower ourselves. Because there are chances that we might fall. Lowering here doesn't mean don't fall. We all fall, and we should fall. Because falling is a sign that we're rising. Only people who rise fall. People who don't rise, they don't fall. So falling is a good thing. And when we fall, it's not a real fall. The real fall is falling but not getting up. That's a real fall. Because very few of us get things right the first time. First time we try something, we try a new recipe, we get it terribly wrong. First time we're working in a new place, we're totally confused. Very few of us get it right. But after we keep falling and failing, we get it eventually. So the fall is not a fall per se. The fall is if we fall and fail to rise again, fail to pick ourselves up again. That's what it means to not lower ourselves. We have to notice when we're slipping, when we're falling. And what is the part of us that notices that? It's our mind. When our mind is our best friend, that mind can tell us. How do we make our mind our best friend? By being alert. It's the simplest sadhana or spiritual practice is to just pay attention. Just pay attention. Take some time out of our day and just see, how are we living life? Are we enjoying it? Many people say we're so efficient, we're able to do so many things, and we're able to check off so many boxes. Done, 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 done. Is that living life? Are we enjoying life? Are we finding peace in our relationships and day to day? If we are, then that tells us that's the right kind of life. But if we're constantly stressed and tensed, full of pressure, then that's not the right kind of life. And only a mind that is present can notice this in us. Maybe we need a pause. Maybe we just need a break. Maybe we need a reset. So a mind that is at peace and in present, the mind that's in the present moment, that mind is our best friend. Because we are always at our best when we are present. Isn't it? Whenever our mind's wandering and somebody asks us something, we don't give the right response. We're not at our best. But when we're fully present, everything that we do is on par. It's apt. A mind that is our worst enemy is a mind that doesn't even recognize when we're falling and failing. A mind that fails to understand what's happening. A mind that's scared to look within. That's the worst enemy, a mind that's scared of silence. Sometimes we're so scared of silence, we're so scared to be alone because we don't want to see what's in that mind. That's not a good mind. A mind that's ready to go within and see what's there and fix it, that mind is best friend. Because we don't earn or gain anything by escaping. We only gain things by facing it. Facing it head on, no matter what it is. And that's how we lift ourselves. Bhagavad-Gītā says, by yourself. Very often we want to get help. Can we get help to get to that point where we want to go? Well, there's a limitation to assistance. People can help us only so far. People can bring food in front of us, but at the end of the day, who has to eat it? They can feed us also, but at the end of the day, who has to chew it? We do, right? The doctor can prescribe all kinds of medicine to us. And they can even put in the prescription and they can order it in CVS for us. At the end of the day, who has to take it? We do. So very often in this lift, we blame others. I can't lift myself because of this person. I can't lift myself because I live in New York City. It's too hard. No. Lift yourself by yourself because at the end of the day, it's all on us. We have to walk alone. Nobody can come with us to the finish line. Nobody, no matter how close they are to us. Life doesn't work like that. We come alone and we go alone. So lift yourself by yourself through finding that inspiring ideal. Now, what happens after the lift? We'll go to verse 2. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuः ma te sangosva karmani. Together. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuः ma te sangosva karmani. Second verse now says, strive fully, but surrender freely. What does this mean? This is a very famous verse in the Bhagavad-Gītā. Karmani eva adhikaraha te. Our right is only in our work. Ma phaleshu kadachana. And never in the results of it. Ma karma phala hetur bhuhu. We shouldn't be somebody who's only eyeing and obsessed with the results. Ma te sangostu akarmani. And we shouldn't also be attached to not acting because of fear. Many people get this verse wrong. They think the Bhagavad-Gītā tells us to act and not think about the results. Actually, it's not that. Bhagavad-Gītā tells us, act and envision what's about to come. Have a proper plan, have a vision, have an understanding of what you see the end goal as. But don't worry about the result. So act, yes, with the result in mind, but act without worrying about the result. Why is that? For the very simple reason we cannot control what's going to happen. Nobody has control over it. The only thing we have control over is our effort and our attitude. That's it. There's nothing else. We plan a program. The weather is not in our control, right? Who comes, who doesn't come is not in our control. How things turn out is not in our control. Hopefully I'm here sitting and speaking about the Gita. I'm hoping that something is imbibed before you leave. You take something before you leave, but that's not in my control. We can't control other people, how they respond, what they do, what they'll say. We can't control how they'll work, how they perform. We can't control the weather, and we know we can't control flights. We can't control Wi-Fi. We can't control our neighbors, the stock market, you name it. So many things we cannot control. But the only thing we can control is just our effort. So Bhagavad-Gītā actually tells us, hey, listen, enjoy life. Really enjoy. Because guess what? When we understand that all that's in our control is our effort and attitude, we become fully focused on the action at hand. Because we know this is all we got. This is all we have. We don't have anything else. What happens if 50% of my attention is here and 20% is somewhere else and 25% is somewhere else? 5% is somewhere else. What happens? It's going to be a very poor type of action. And very often it needs to be reworked, retyped, replanned. It needs to be redone. But if I just put a whole 100% in what I'm doing now, then what happens? I don't have to do it again. I don't have to think about it again because it's done and I felt it. And I went through it. The other thing about just focusing on what's at hand is we get to lose ourselves in the action. We get to lose ourselves wherein work itself is the reward. So somebody who loses themselves in the action, they find so much bliss in it. They're not thinking of, are they going to get appreciated, promoted, rewarded? Are they going to get all of these things? They're not thinking about it because in the action themselves, they themselves just enjoyed every bit of it. They enjoyed every bit of it. They lost themselves in it. And because they lost themselves in it, that work has become rest. Work doesn't become stressed or tensed or pressured. It itself is rest. Very relaxing. We've seen an athlete when they lose themselves in a game. Very relaxed. A musician when they lose themselves in a song. An artist when they lose themselves in painting. They're just very relaxed and very much at peace and at ease. And how do you think that work will come out to be? Nothing short of divine. Because the truth is, when we lose ourselves in the moment, there's no more ego there. And it's only divinity that works through us. There's a beautiful verse in Bhagavad-Gītā which says, Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. That let me just be the instrument of divine grace. And let only that flow. And divine grace only flows when there's no ego. So karmani eva adhikaraha te tells us, enjoy life. Live in the moment. Get lost in the action. Feel that joy and bliss in the action itself that one doesn't even crave for the result. And because one has gotten lost in it so beautifully, divinity was able to work through them. And the results are divine. In this verse also, it tells us, Mate Sangha Astu Akarmani. Don't get attached to inaction. Very often, we don't act. We can become lazy. Nowadays, we are so lazy. We don't have to cook, we have Instapot. And we don't have to drive, we have, driverless cars. Right? We don't have to go even to a restaurant to pick up anything. We have Seamless and Uber Eats. We don't really have to do much. So we're kind of used to being lazy. But here the Bhagavad-Gītā says, don't resolve to not act. Because when we don't act, because maybe we're afraid, maybe we want to escape something, maybe we don't know what's going to happen. When we don't act, we lose our potential. We lose our intelligence. We lose our wisdom. Therefore, act, but enjoy that very action. What is the key to make us enjoy action? The key to enjoying action is inspiration. Now we will see that in this next verse. Yat karoshi yadashnasi Yat juhoshi dadasi yata Yat tapasyasi kaunteya Tat kurushva madarpanam. Together. Yat karoshi yadashnasi Yat juhoshi dadasi yata Yat tapasyasi kaunteya Tat kurushva madarpanam. Says, Yat karoshi, whatever we do, Yadashnasi, whatever we eat, Yat juhoshi, whatever we offer in sacrifice, Tadasyat, whatever we give, Yat tapasyasi, whatever we practice as austerity, O Kaunteya, O Arjuna, Tat kurushva mad arpanam, do it as an offering to me. Before we get into this verse, we saw in verse 2, strive fully, but surrender freely. One more point I want to make about surrender is, surrendering here means surrendering our ego during the action and surrendering whatever the results happen to be. Just letting go of that. And by the way, surrender is not an option. Many of us think we have the choice to surrender or not surrender. Actually, our choice is when do we surrender? Because guess what? That Bhagavan, God, will always win. It's you against the universe. Who's going to win? Definitely not you. And not me. We will never win. We will never win against the cosmic intelligence of the universe. Therefore, this surrendering, it's just a matter of when we do it, not if we do it. If we surrender in the beginning, we fly free. If we surrender in the middle, we're going to keep fighting a little bit, get tensed up. If we surrender in the end, we'll get so agitated, but in the end, we're going to surrender anyway. So guess what? We're going to surrender anyway. Might as well do our best and surrender right there and then in the action itself. That's where we will find great peace. That's a secret about surrender. It's not a choice. So what helps us get lost in the action, lose ourselves in the moment? Leading a life of vision. In verse number 3, Bhagavad-Gītā gives us 5 practical tips of how to lead a life of vision. Before we go to each of these 5, I just want to give you a simple anecdote. It's one of my favorite anecdotes, which it just really helps put things in perspective. This was at the time of Kennedy, President Kennedy, there was a janitor. He was in NASA. He was working in NASA. And this janitor was mopping the floor. He was just mopping the floor casually. And President Kennedy comes to him and says, he wants to meet everybody. He says, okay, so what do you do here? What are you doing? And he says, sir, I'm helping to put a man on the moon. This is what he says. I'm helping to put a man on the moon. He doesn't say I'm mopping the floor. You understand? Now just think of it. The same action. If somebody says, I'm just here mopping the floor, what do you think their action is like? Maybe sloppy. Maybe they're just rushing to get out of there. Maybe they feel like this job is just to pay their bills. Maybe the way they interact with people is not that great. And maybe inside they don't feel any sense of happiness. But what about the one who says, I'm putting a man on the moon? How much care do you think they would take in what they do? How much pride? How would their interactions be with other people? And what's the fulfillment that they would feel within? It's something different, isn't it? It's the same action of mopping, but one feels like they're putting a man on the moon. So here in the Bhagavad-Gītā, it doesn't tell us to just make these, random or rapid career changes. It just tells us to shift our vision. Once our vision becomes more selfless, once it becomes higher, once it benefits more, it thinks of totality, actually we benefit more because we feel more fulfilled and others also benefit because of the nature of our work. These 5 acts, he says, yat karoshi, whatever we do, we have the option to act out of thirst, act out of our passion, or act keeping totality in mind. It could be even so simple as ordering food. What do I want versus what's good for everybody? Where do we go for vacation? This is where I want to go versus this is actually what's best for everyone. Yat karoshi, in whatever we do, simple day-to-day things, or wherever we work, whatever our job is, what can we do to benefit totality more? Just shift the vision, and we will find that there's an inner shift. Inside us, we feel more fulfilled. Just because the vision has changed. Yat ashnasi, whatever we eat. Now what's so common is fast food, right? Leftovers, eating all kinds of junk. Or we're eating according to our tastes. There's a new food truck in this place. Did you try it out? There's a new restaurant. Eating in spiritual life is actually very sacred because that food serves as sustenance. That food helps us to do what we do. It helps us live. It helps us speak. It helps us walk. It helps us work. Are we eating for satisfaction, just to follow the taste buds, or are we eating for sustenance? Are we eating too much where we get so sleepy and tired? Are we eating things which will make us too hyperactive? Or are we eating in a way that can help us serve more, give more, love more? It's just a shift. It's the same act of eating, but we have to decide, are we eating for our personal satisfaction, or are we eating for sustenance so that we can serve others? So we can be mindful of how much we eat and don't overconsume and overproduce so much garbage that the landfills have just so much food waste. Yadashnasi. Yadjuhoshi. Yadjuhoshi is, what do we pray for? Are we praying for possessions or are we praying for purity? Just think about it. That divinity has a power to give us something so beautiful, has a power to give us enlightenment. When we pray to God, to Ishvara, there's that chance to get enlightenment, to get peace, to get joy, to get everlasting bliss. And what are we praying for? May my kid get married. May I have a grandkid. May I get this promotion. I hope I don't get a parking ticket. We're praying for all of these things. Somebody who has the ability, that cosmic intelligence who has the ability to give us peace. We're praying for possessions. Imagine if somebody had $1 billion. How much would you ask? $10. No, you would ask way more, right? Because he's capable of giving so much. So that intelligence that's capable of giving so much, we ask so little. When we pray for purity, we pray to be better. We pray to have more virtues. We pray to love more, to give more, to grow more. Then we benefit. One of our spiritual teachers said that sometimes within us, we do have this want of praying for something selfish. It does happen. Sometimes we just really want something. We can't help it. What do we do if we can't help but pray for some kind of possession? So he said, always pray for 4 selfless things, and then you can pray for your selfish goal. So you can pray for health for somebody else, safety for somebody else, that somebody else gets what they need, that there's enough food for this person, and then you pray for your own thing. It's just a matter of changing our vision. That's it. Same act. Dadasi yat. What do we give in charity? Do we give charity to really help others, or because we want to boast? We want to show people how much we gave. In Sanatana Dharma, in Hinduism, charity is a very beautiful thing. It's actually an opportunity. The nature of wealth is that when it is used for the community, for a higher purpose, then it blesses. When wealth is stored, it makes that person worried. Where am I going to put the money? What's going to happen to the money? What if they find out I have so much money? What's going to happen? Right? And when wealth is spent unwisely, when this wealth is spent just in pleasure, it ruins our character. It ruins our character because we feel like we can buy whatever we want, go wherever we want, do whatever we want. And we tend to cross the boundaries of morality because we have so much wealth. And we tend to buy people, buy this and buy that. So wealth has that nature that if it's stored, it corrupts because it just keeps worrying. If it is spent unwisely, it also corrupts. It tempts us to cross the boundaries of morality. But if that wealth is shared, of course, whatever's required for us, we keep. But if that is shared so that it benefits the community, it benefits all the worthy causes, then that wealth blesses. It's a blessing. And those people who give to such worthy causes, they find that they get more wealth. And wealth just keeps coming to them. It's because we have respected wealth. When we respect wealth, wealth longs to come to us. This is a rule of life. When we respect anything, it knocks on our door because it wants to come to those who respect it. Today is also Giving Tuesday, I'm told, right? So it's a beautiful day to really think about how we can use that money in a respectful way. To give and not to just hoard. Dadasi yat. Yat tapasyasi. Whatever we do in austerity. Here, all of us perform austerity. What is austerity? Austerity, the Sanskrit word is tapas. Tapas means, it comes from the root tap, anything that makes us burn, meaning anything that burns our impurities is called austerity. So it's a practice of self-control. It could be going to the gym. It could be waking up early. It could be, a routine to control anger. It could be a routine to control screen time. Make sure I don't use the phone or devices too much. Any routine of self-control is called tapas. But what's the difference here? The difference here is that some people perform these austerities because they want to boast to other people. I'm going to the gym because I want to look good and post it all over the place. That's not what austerity is for. Austerity is meant to be kept silent. We're taking care of our health, not so we can look good, but so we can help more. We're maybe doing a certain spiritual practice, not so we can tell everybody that we're doing this spiritual practice and our mind is so pure and our mind is so clean. We're doing it just so that we can be more grounded in how we live our day-to-day life. So when we take up any austerity, are we doing it to show everybody what we're about? Or are we doing it to internally grow? So many people now, they choose posts over peace. In social media, everybody wants to keep posting and posting and posting and posting. So I tell everybody, just choose peace over posts. Just live life as you want to live it, as you need to live it, and as you know how to live it. And there's no need for us to tell everybody how we're living our lives. If we do that, that means we don't really have a life. Austerity, our practices are meant to be kept silent, because only in silence comes from opening our mouths. Strength comes from shutting up. So that austerity is just shifting the vision. Shifting the vision of what we do, how we eat, how we pray, how we give, and how we practice austerity. Even after doing this, even after we said, surrender your worries, because it's not in our control, I'm still worried. Don't we often find that we're still worried? We say, do your best, leave the rest, surrender everything. We're still worried inside. We can even talk about these verses, but something is pricking us inside. How do we completely let go of even that remnant of worry? This comes now in the 4th verse. Ananyaschintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Together, ananyaschintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. This verse is the heart of the Bhagavad-Gītā. It says, Ananyaschintayanto mam, those who worship me alone. Ye janah paryupasate, those who think of no other. Ananyaschintayanto mam is actually those who think of no other. Ye janah paryupasate, those who worship me. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam, to those ever self-controlled. Yogakshemam vahamyaham, I provide what they lack and preserve what they already have. What does this verse mean? First, let's look at this phrase, yoga and kshema. Yoga in this phrase doesn't mean like a yoga asana class. In this phrase, yoga means something that is to be acquired. And kshema is something that is to be preserved. So it's acquisition and preservation. And these two, yoga and kshema, they constitute all of our worries in life. Yoga, want to have children. And then kshema, now we have to figure out how to take care of those children. Yoga, I want a job, I want a promotion. Kshema, now I have to figure out how to keep that job. Yoga, I want a new apartment. Kshema, now I have to figure out how to finance it. Right? So everything we do is yoga kshema, yoga kshema. We acquire something, then we have to figure out how to preserve it. Acquire, preserve, acquire, preserve. This verse says we need not worry at all. The biggest fault we have is we think that we are in charge of acquisition and preservation. We think that it's on us. It's actually not. There is a cosmic intelligence that takes care of our yoga and kshema. What do I mean by this? Now, just think about the universe. Who's taking care of the universe? You taking care? Or am I taking care? How is it that the law of gravity is always functioning? The earth is always rotating. And planets are always revolving around the sun. There's a water cycle, there's high tide, there's low tide, there's seasons, summer, spring, fall, winter. How is it that everything happens in the universe according to a certain law? Are we doing that? But it's happening, right? And did you ever think about the food chain? How all animals in the food cycle, everybody takes care of everybody. We have those animals that eat grass, right? The herbivores. Then we have animals that eat those animals. And then we have other animals that eat those very animals. Then we have those who eat the dead bodies of animals. And then finally the bacteria that takes all of the remainder. And it works by itself. You doing that or I'm doing that? And have you ever thought of the ocean? Everything's taking care of the ocean. The little fish, they eat the algae. The bigger fish eat the little fish. The sharks eat the bigger fish. But everything's kept in check. It's actually perfect. It's not murder. It's perfect. We're keeping the system in balance. Now I invite you to think about our bodies. Do you know that every minute millions of cells are being born and dying? Every minute. Are we doing that? Digestion's having place as we speak. Or hunger. Who knows? Circulation is happening. Circulation is happening. Digestion is happening. Our immune system is in check. Respiration is happening. We are breathing. We don't even know we're breathing. We don't even remember we're breathing. Our heart's pumping. We don't even know our heart's pumping. Our kidney and liver, they're functioning. We don't even know where our kidney is. Are you doing that or am I doing that? None of us are doing that, but it's happening, isn't it? What does this tell us? There's a divine cosmic intelligence that takes care of everything. So therefore, we need not worry. Everything will be taken care of. It's a promise. Here, 3 beautiful qualities are given. It says, Ananyas chintayanto mam, meaning the ones who have their goal as becoming better, becoming the best that they can be. Those who have that kind of goal. Ye jana paripasate, those who see everything as worship, every single work, every single act as worship. Those who are nityabhiyuktanam, those who are steadfast, those who have faith. To those who have these 3 qualities, they have a great goal. They see everything as an act of worship, and they have faith. They never have to worry a day in their life because everything will be taken care of. But a question comes, what if I don't have those 3 qualities? What if I don't have a higher goal? What if I have a hard time seeing everything as worship? And what if my faith is unsteady? It will still be taken care of. But there's a difference. And I'll tell you the difference in an example. The difference is, now imagine that you're riding a train. You're riding a train and you have a suitcase, right? And what would you do if you were riding a train and let's say there were no more seats and you're standing and you have a suitcase? What would you do with your suitcase? You just keep it there, right? You keep it there because you don't have to carry it because the train's going to take it anyway, right? Why will you carry it? But there are fools who carry the suitcase because they feel like they need to carry that weight on their head. Even if the train's already carrying it, they take the suitcase and carry it on their head because they feel like they have to carry it. Who is that person? That's us. We're already going to be taken care of. Train's already moving. But what are we choosing to do? Take everything, put it on our head. Good luck. Keep worrying. So we have a choice in life. Our choice is either to worship or to worry. If we're truly worshipping, then there will never be a day of worry. Not even one day, not even one moment. Because it's very clear that we will be taken care of. But if we choose to worry, then good luck. We come to the last verse now. Sarvadharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja Aham tva sarva papebhyah Mokshayishyami ma shuchaha Sarvadharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja Aham tva sarva papebhyah Mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. We begin to question, is the only thing we have to let go of worry? It says no. In this last verse, Sarva dharman parityajya, abandoning all dharmas of the body, mind and intellect, mam ekam sharanam vraja, come to me alone. Aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami, and I will liberate you from all sin. Ma shuchaha, don't grieve. Worry is not the final thing we have to let go of. The final thing we have to let go of is the ego. The word dharma here means our non-essential dharmas, our non-essential properties of the body, mind, and intellect. We feel we're limited, we feel restricted because we identify with this body, but we're greater than the body. We feel limited because we identify with the mind and with the intellect. Actually, when we look deeper, there's something in us that is changeless. The body keeps changing. Ever since we were young, to when we were teenagers, to even now, the body's changed so much. The mind has changed so much. Our moods, our thoughts, sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're slow. Our intellect, our identities, our memory has changed so much. But there's something inside us that's changeless, and that is our true self. So when it says Sarva Dharman Parityajya, let go of that which keeps changing. Let go of identifying with it. Mam ekam sharanam vraja, come to realize our changeless self. And having realized this is actually freedom from all sin. Because sin is only identifying with what we are not. When we identify with our body, we limit ourselves. We make ourselves small. We limit ourselves to just this. When we identify with our mind, we limit ourselves to those thoughts. When we identify with our intellect, we limit ourselves to that personality. That is sin. Sin is the limitation. Once we disidentify, that is realizing who we are. When we realize who we are, then there will not be grief. There will only be peace. Because the changeless in us always remains untouched, unaffected. No weapon can destroy it. No water can wet it. No wind can dry it. No fire can burn it. It's the indestructible self. Nothing can touch it. It is fearless, and it is free. Knowing that, we never grieve. This is the knowledge of the Bhagavad-Gītā. The knowledge of the Bhagavad-Gītā flows from self-effort by lifting ourselves to losing ourselves in the action, to leading a life of vision, surrendering our worry, and finally surrendering our ego, only to realize that Tvam Asi, that thou art. You are divine. Your real nature is divine. Knowing that is the purpose of life. And this is a pathway. With this, we conclude the Gita Panchamrit, these 5 drops of nectar of the Bhagavad-Gītā, which provide the whole spiritual path. In this brochure, if those who want to keep chanting it and remembering it, you can use the QR code to chant it. I invite you to chant it every day just to remember these beautiful teachings. You can also sing along to it. The meanings are there. And at the back of your brochure, we also have information about Chinmaya Mission New York and Swami Chinmayananda ji. Chinmaya Mission is a beautiful movement. I know some of you are part of our classes and offerings. If you are not yet, please do come and attend. We have many classes on the Bhagavad-Gītā and other spiritual texts. And it's a way for all of us to really transform and help each other grow on this path of spirituality. This I conclude. I offer my gratitude to Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji and our Mother Gita for giving us such wonderful teachings. And to everybody here today for taking the time out to revel in this. Amen.